Good evening, folks. It is March 23rd, 2023, and it's Hobby Talk with PSA Canada. We are back. Luke, how's it going this evening?
Good. How are you, Carlos?
I'm
Brad?
doing well. I'm doing well. Mr. Brad, now have you recovered fully psychologically from not being in Santa Ana, California? I'm afraid Santa Ana, California was not your situation this past week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a busy week as usual. Look forward to it, and I look forward to Vegas next week for the Mint Collective. So,
It's a
yeah,
tough life you lead. It's really difficult. Like I started looking at those panels, Brad. It's very exciting. I might make a video tonight about those panels and the excitement that is coming from those panels. Like I am overjoyed to tell the people about these panels.
well, there you go. See,
Overjoyed.
my big we're incorporating this. That this is if you're going to incorporate a family trip, you might as well do it around a card show.
Mm,
So it's a little bit of both. My daughter and her friend and Sherry, we're all going. So we'll have 5 days there. We're getting ready to go.
sounds good.
Where's the
So
show at?
Right at MGM.
MGM.
yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's the Mid Collective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the one that's still sponsored. I think UFC does have a stake in it as well. So they've at least got some executives that are going to be part of it. I'm having my fun with the whole panel thing, but they've got a whole series of them set up as part of the VIP ticket, the bigger version of it. A lot of giveaways, a lot of corporate sponsorship dollars are going to go into it, so that's a big part of it for sure. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to the content coming out of the collective. I think that's always usually very interesting. So it's right around that time of year. I think we'll have a little bit of fun with that one.
Yeah.
So we're gonna quickly get into the chat here. Good evening, Bobbles. Have yourself a good one. Hopefully it's going well. All right. So tonight we're gonna have a little bit of a different occasion. We're gonna do a lot of the usual thing, but before we do, real quick, I just want to make sure. Do we have anything that we want to announce or say? Is there anything upcoming that we want to touch on just before I get to a couple of our guests, or you let me know?
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but anyone that has any that wants to submit for the TCG special, that does end in March. So if you have your submissions, we want to make sure we get them in over the before the 28th of March. But anything that's post dated, we'll do it. We're not sure yet if PSA is going to extend that into April. They extended it from February into March, so we'll know. But if you want to be safe, you might as well get them in now, and that's the big thing. Then we can go over our show calendar again tomorrow as well.
Sounds good. CC, good evening. Absolutely. How's it going tonight, guys? Can't say long working tonight. Just came by to say hi. Well, thank you for saying hi. Appreciate it. Have to announce to Luke, I've got a Robertson RPA for less than the case. That's true. He did get a Jason Robertson RPA. He followed Luke's sage investment advice. So now if he goes
Nice.
broke, it's because of you, Luke. I hope you can accept that responsibility. It's all on you.
He scored the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, whoa, zinger.
That's what we're gonna hinge on. That's what we're gonna hope for. I'll have you know, all he did was replicate last year's goal total, and goal scoring is up. There's a 60 goal scorer this year. I need you to remember that. I need you to think about it. It's a big difference.
And he's in Edmonton.
That's right. Good evening, Doug. Absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna get started. We got a little bit of something different here tonight. We're gonna have some guests that are gonna join us. So guests that are gonna join us, you might want to be paying attention. I'm about to bring you on, so you might want to be ready on your side of it. Give me a thumbs up if you're good, and then I'm gonna bring you on. All right. So we got two young guys here that are going to join us, and it's 416 Sports Cards. Gentlemen, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi guys, I'm Ben,
And I'm Ryan.
and we're 416 Sports Cards.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And outside of the fact that you were just lounging around there in that bottom corner for this whole time, there's a specific reason we want to talk to you guys. A couple of questions we're going to have for you, and then also we want to talk about a trade night. So what I want to do is, either one of you, you let me know. I want you to talk to me a little bit about what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. Tell me a little bit about it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to put the social media posts on the screen while we're chatting. So go ahead.
All right. So, like he said, I'm Ryan. He's Ben. We're 416 Sports Cards. And we're running trade night in Toronto at the Hilton Airport. That is this Saturday, March 25th from 6 to 9:30 p.m. We are officially sold out of vendor passes. So we have 5 vendors who will be setting up a table. And we have a couple tickets left for general admission where they can shop at these tables, and they can also trade with other people who are attending the event. Sorry.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and also we're going to be giving away 10 PSA submissions. So 10 people are going to get a chance to submit a card valued under $4.99 to PSA for absolutely free. It'll be totally random. All you have to do to join is come to the event and grab a raffle ticket as soon as you join. And we're going to have refreshments available for absolutely free for whoever would like one. And we're just going to have some fun Saturday night. And maybe I think we're going to get the Leafs game on a TV. and it's just going to be a great Saturday night.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, we're familiar, folks that attend the expo are familiar with that region. They're familiar with that area since basically it's right around, it's near one of the hotels where the expo is usually. We've got the expo, we've got the convention center, and then we've got a cluster of different hotels. So this one, which one of the hotels is it again?
It's the Hilton Toronto Airport. So it's like it says 5875 Airport Road.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys are younger guys, so this is quite an undertaking here to organize trade nights. So, what inspired you? Why did you want to host a trade night and set it up?
Well, we love trade nights. They're the best part of the hobby. Seeing people in your community, trading cards, getting new cards for your collection, and we wanted more. Like we wanted a place where like kids can come, or like just an event with drinks and stuff. Like we just wanted to have some fun for a Saturday night, and because there have been trade nights. They're fun. But we wanted to take a step up, and we wanted to bring more with awesome giveaways. We wanted everyone to enjoy. We wanted everyone to leave with like a smile on their face, like just enjoying it and stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, as part of this, as you're kind of doing this, so this will be kind of an undertaking for you to give it a try and set it up and bring your own little spin on it. So obviously you got the drinks, as you said, you're going to try to create a certain environment, possibly have the game on, kind of things you're talking about. So is that kind of the things that you're kind of thinking about? You're borrowing a little bit from the US one and trying to put a little bit of your own spin on it to give a little bit of different trade night experience versus what a lot of there have been trade nights that have been tried in kind of shops and things like that, but trying it a little different on the Canadian side of things, where it's a little different than the US experience normally.
Well, yeah, a lot of, like we spoke about before, a lot of trade nights in the U.S. have been very successful. They're very established pages, though, with thousands and thousands of followers that have very loyal supporters. So we're starting to try and bring that team to Canada, and as effectively as possible with like a Canadian vibe. So have hockey on. We don't want it to feel like you're forced to be buying food and drinks. We're just trying to provide for the community who's going to show up, and we hope it's going to be an amazing night for everyone.
And it's perfect to do that with PSA Canada, another trying to bring more stuff to Canada, like what Brad's doing. And we thought it would be a perfect partnership for us.
Listen, flattery will get you everywhere. Like
Absolutely, I like it.
History says flattery will get you very, very smoothly done. Well played. So I wanted to have it on the screen. I will include a link to this social media post in the description for after the fact. So we will include that. And then we'll also include at the very end, we'll do one more quick round up in order to get their contacts and everything. So we'll do that right here at the end. But let's have a little bit of a conversation. So I'm going to drop that off here for now. Chat with you guys. I want to talk a little bit about 416 Sports Cards. So you've got yourself, your own branding and everything. So you've taken the entrepreneurial spirit. You're not only organizing this thing, you also got your 416 Sports Cards thing going on for yourselves. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? So either one of you that wants to take that one away.
Should I?
Yeah,
so basically 416 Sports Cards, we run Tuesday singles on Whatnot. We start all the singles at $1. We try to give our customers the better of the deal. We make relationships with card shops to give us better deals in order to give our customers better deals, in order for everyone to win. It's a win-win for everyone. The card shop wins, we win, and the customers win. Everyone makes a profit. And so that's what we do with our story sales and our Whatnot shows. That's why we've grown as we've grown. And yeah.
No, sounds good. I appreciate that. Now, just a question. So who does the shipping? It's always my least favorite thing. So who do you pawn off the shipping on? Do you split it off, or do you get somebody to do it?
I do the shipping.
Oh, you do the shipping? All right.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things. So let me ask you this. So as part of your as you build up, so you've got the Whatnot thing going on. You start doing that. I like that you look at each other to try to get answers. That's very good. But as you do, so you're doing the shipping, which is great. So what do? You walk in with a big parcel, a bunch of packages? Are they used to seeing you? What's the experience been like for you guys doing that?
So we, funny enough, just dropped off packages like 2 hours before this. We on Whatnot, they prepare you the label. So all you have to do is print out the label and put it on the bubble mailer and drop it off at the post office. So we come in with a massive bag of stuff. She always, the lady who works there always has a smile on her face when she sees us come in. She's like, uh-oh, here they come. And yeah, we give it to them and they ship it out.
Good
and then
stuff.
tracking's provided and stuff. Yeah.
Good stuff. So you build these relationships with these card shops, and that helps you. As you said, it's a bit of a win-win-win, which is great. Is there an area that you specialize in? Is there a favorite sport or category that you prefer, that you kind of play around with, or is it a little bit of everything?
Football, basketball are the main two, and then baseball, hockey, soccer, F1 are like the smaller of the sports.
All right. No, I like that. That sounds fair. So let me kind of open it up. So I want to open it up here. I'll grab a couple of questions from the chat. So we'll do that. And at the same time, so let me grab one or two from there. And then I want, if you, Brad, or you, Luke, have anything you want to add or ask, but by all means, we'll do that. So let me go in here real quick. So first of all, grab this here. Thank you, Yannick. Very cool and well done, lads. So perfect. Good to see the kids doing something productive. Keep it up. So thank you, Baubles. Awesome job from Doug. So good stuff there. Good evening. Good to see the show getting some quality guests. We're trying, man. We're trying. We're trying. We're working on it. Thank you, Dave. Salatani by Trout. Bite your tongue, sir. Bite your tongue. One of them won a championship and one of them struck out. That's all I'm saying. I'll discuss that more on Friday. Anyway, good to see the young adults getting involved. Good luck with the trade night. Good stuff. Thank you, CC. You guys might be a bit more disconcerting about who you associate with. Listen, our shadiness is acceptable in this region. Sir. So let's see here. Who wins the most? I'm not sure about this question.
Always our customers.
There you go. Well done. Good stuff. I like it. So if you guys have any other questions on there in the chat, feel free to throw them in there, and then we'll go from there. So first, either Luke or Brad, do you guys want to ask any questions to the young guys here?
How long have you guys been doing this?
2020, like January 2020 is when we first started. And we started like everyone does, go to our LCS or a card shop, buy a pack of cards, see what you pull, see what you can do with those cards, and then just grow from there.
Becomes an addiction.
Yeah, and it becomes an addiction.
I hear you.
I've heard videos about this kind of thing. That's interesting. So here's a question. So 2020, you get started on that. So what leads you to take the leap from opening packs and getting into it from that perspective to, oh, we want to create kind of our own virtual shop. And then obviously now we want to do a trade night. So how do we make the leap there from 2020 to right now where we're taking it to that next step and then that next step?
So, of course, we started off as customers. And with customers, we experience a lot of sellers. And with the sellers, ideas pop in our mind. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, let's see if I can do that. So then we start our Instagram pages. There's tons of Instagram pages for sports cards. And we start that. And then we build relationships with our customers and stuff. And you just keep growing from there. And basically, we wanted to be like these card shops, kind of. Ryan, you want to add?
Yeah, and when we started, inspiration was looking to people who've been in the hobby for longer than us and who have been seen successful. And when we had, packs in our hand, they were holding a lot bigger cards. And that's kind of the goal, to keep working up and keep some cards you enjoy collecting and also make some money.
Good stuff. So I've got another question here, but before I do, Brad, do you have anything you want to kind of ask the guys?
Yeah, just that in general, I think that's why when they reached out to me, I just met them. I flew up to the CSC. Is that the proper?
CSC was the one. Yeah, that was the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So Carlos, we met you there. Luke, you flew in from Edmonton for it, but I just was gradually walking around looking for some stuff for my own collection. I walked by the table, and it was Ben that stopped. He just says, "Hey, you want the best deals in the show? I'm your guy." And I was just kind of looked at him, and I said, "What did he just say?" And then he was like, "No, seriously. Like, we got the best deals in the entire place. We give deals. Let's see what we can do." And we just started to chat, and I picked out a few cards, and I laughed. We made a little transaction, and then I came back later, and it was the same thing. I got to see the positive energy coming from both of them, and when you feel that, there's so much negativity in the hobby at times. When you see someone that's genuinely having fun and they're in there and they're doing their hustle, kind of bring me back to my days when I was 15. I had my first card store. It's like you have to start somewheres, and you can just tell instantly when you see two younger individuals that are working that hard and that friendly and that knowledgeable about what they're doing. Obviously, from a personal standpoint, I just said, hey, anything I can ever do to help these guys out, I will. So not knowing that they were going to do a trade net, I got an email, I think, or a Facebook message Sherry mentioned to me and said, which we get all the time for sponsorships, different things. They sent me over an email with what they were doing. And I just said it was a no-brainer for us to be part of it and help them guys out a little bit. Because regardless of what they do, you can see, both of them are going to have successful careers and hopefully they're lifelong hobbyists. And we as PSA Canada want to associate ourselves with good people and people that strive under the same values that we have. So as you can see how well spoken, just presentation, we just got them to hop on here. It's impressive. So good job, guys, to you. And as PSA Canada, we're happy to be part of it. Anything you guys do in the future.
Thank you so much, Brad. That
Appreciate
really means
that
a
one.
lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The warm vibes. The warm vibes.
There you are.
No, I'm going to ask a follow-up question. So Whatnot is one of the platforms you're using. I have some familiarity with it, but I haven't tried to do anything with it on the selling side. Now, how have you found the Whatnot? To your point, the Whatnot platform does print out a lot of that. There is also an interactivity element to it because I guess you're doing it. Are you doing with the live streams? Is that kind of how you're
Yeah.
performing with it? How do you find that? Kind of talking to the audience, so to speak. Have you enjoyed that process of it?
You wanna?
Sure. I find Whatnot is a great way to bring in customers you wouldn't necessarily get on Instagram. With Instagram, your live videos only shows up, I know, when you open the app if you follow that person. But Whatnot almost shows like a TikTok aspect of like a for you, what they recommend for you.
Mhm.
And that's how you can make new customers, refer them to your other socials, and really make connections you wouldn't otherwise make. And it also helps as a middleman for payment because that can be hard some of the time on Instagram collecting payment. So Whatnot does it right then and there. They cover shipping. It's all easy and it gets out.
Nice. Sounds good. Now, let me ask this. From the social there, it says that you're kind of operating between both sides of the border because you're in Miami part of the time and then also you're operating out of Toronto part of the time. Now, one of the things that's usually a challenge, this is like I don't like to do too much kid gloves. It's more fun this way if we just ask the question because it's part of it. You're operating a business. You're talking about two different currencies. So there is a foreign exchange element to it. You can buy stuff in US Canadian dollars and sell it in US dollars, and there's a little bit of an arbitrage right there. You could literally sell it for the same item for the same price and win on the back end of that. Or vice versa. It could increase your costs on the other side of it. How do you find yourselves negotiating that side of it? How do you when you're sourcing cards and then also when you're selling cards? How do you find that back and forth?
So that's a great point there, Carlos. But so what to keep in mind is you just have to be mindful about it. You have to, when you're doing a deal on a card, you didn't pay in Canadian or you paid in American, you have to be mindful of how much you paid for that card. That has to go into every deal because you can't, taking losses isn't the way to go in this hobby. Because if you're taking losses, you're not doing something right. So you have to keep in the back of your mind, oh, I paid for this, oh, that's the conversion, just so you know you're on the right path and you're getting good deals and stuff. Yeah.
Now you're kind of memorizing it. Right now you're young, so your memory might be sharp. As you get a little bit older, you get a little more inventory. You might forget stuff. So do you have a record keeping thing you do with it, or is it kind of right now just operating in here?
Sometimes I can keep a record of it or just remember it, and sometimes I have it on eBay. I can just check to my purchases on what I paid and Whatnot. They keep your transaction receipts and stuff.
That's good. Use the resources around you. That makes a lot of sense. That sounds good. So let me ask this here. So Luke, first, do you have anything you want to add? Any questions you want to throw in here?
What do you guys have for a dream card? What are you guys looking to get at the end of the day?
Dream card. 1 of 1 Josh Allen NFL Shield from National Treasures RPA.
Wow, Josh Allen. Okay.
I like it.
All right. Buffalo fan or Josh Allen's fan specifically?
Both.
All right. Fair enough.
I wouldn't say the same for Ryan though.
I was going to say, you, sir, you're not off the hook. We have the same question for you.
Probably nice Austin Matthews rookie auto would have to be up there for me, or a nice Seahawks card.
All right. Interesting. I like it. So is kind of the goal in mind is to kind of work your way up into it as you kind of do deals and you have build on your successes. Let me ask this question then. This is kind of a fun question whenever we talk about a business kind of thing. So is your goal as you're going along to let's say you're starting to build a little bit of traction, you're starting to get a little success. Are you trying to build up like a big inventory, or is it a situation that you want to be a little bit select as you kind of offer cards? Big inventory or kind of small inventory that you're kind of controlling? What is your preference?
I think the bigger the inventory, the more customers you have and the more sales you can have.
Okay.
And we just want to become big. Like we want to become known in the hobby. We want to be there. We want to be there for sales. We want to be known as getting people who give good deals out. So the bigger the inventory, the more sales you can generate and the more people you can meet in the hobby. So, and yeah, the more opportunities you have with the more inventory. So we probably want to go for the bigger the inventory.
All right. Sounds good. So if you guys in the chat have anything else you want to ask, I'll throw this in. So do you want to go just a couple more minutes here and then we'll let the guys go?
I told them I wouldn't keep them too long anyways, but I will say I appreciate the guys coming on tonight. Anyone out there that's listening, we're going to put it on all our socials. If I wasn't heading away this weekend, I definitely would be attending. So anyone that's out there that's listening or watches afterwards, just spread the word and watch what these guys build upon. So
sounds good.
Thank you very much. Brad, Luke, and Carlos for
Thanks,
having us.
guys. We really appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let me get you guys out on this because this is where now you can plug all your socials and the whole bit. So let's finish up on this thought. So you're doing the trade night this weekend. I want to ask you, here's my question for both of you. First, what does success look like to you? If you envision it at the end of it, what do you want to see or get off of it? What vibe do you want to have in the room when you're done, when you're able to do the whole thing? And then after you tell me that, then tell us your socials and everything else so we can reach you.
All right. Well, definitely to have people, both sides of the deal happy. So if it's two people trading or someone buying off someone's table, we want everyone to be happy. And assuming everything, or as it will go well on Saturday, we'd like to expand into bigger trade nights and see where it takes us from there. That's definitely the end goal and a vision of success.
And another vision is to become even bigger partners with Brad and PSA Canada, and to take the 30 to 40 people trade nights and turning them to 100 people trade nights, and just turning them into massive events that all GTA members know about, and to make sure, Ryan said it very well, both sides of the deal are happy.
Hard. That should be like 1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Build it up. Gotta work it out. Gentlemen, where do we reach you? What are the contacts? What are the socials?
Can I go first?
Sure.
416 Sports Cards on Instagram and whatnot. And
You can reach me on Instagram at 6sneakerplug and also at the same on whatnot.
Sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen. Just as Brad said, we appreciate you joining in and great answers. Great job in terms of promoting the product. Wish you the best of luck at the trade night. Hope you guys have a lot of fun and hope you're able to build off of it.
thank you guys so much for having us.
Okay. Thanks, fellas. We appreciate it.
Have a good night, guys.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Take them off there. Good job. Good job. All right.
Sweet.
Let's go here quick. So James said a little earlier, key to good customer service, find out what the competition is doing and doing better. Good job. So thank you for that, James. Miami to Toronto using Brad's private jet. Of course. Eric says, very impressive young men. All the best to them. Absolutely. Good luck from Dave. Perfect. Perfect for guests. Looking forward to seeing them at the expo. Good stuff. Thank you, Doug. Thank you all. Brad let me know a little bit ahead of time that he wanted to give the young guys a little bit of spotlight, so we thought it'd be kind of fun. And we'll do a after the fact. I'll pull the bit where we have the discussion in the whole piece, and it'll be its own little standalone video for folks to check it out. Otherwise, you should check it on replay. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to throw them in the comment section, like always, and like it usually is the case for us.
No, it's nice to see. Like I said, giving them guys compliments. It's genuine. As you can see, they're two smart young men that are going to be successful regardless of what they do. Just to have that positivity and that energy. We have a lot of young guys here in Halifax that I do a lot of business with, and I kind of do a little bit of mentoring and try to help them out the best you can. But you can see the guys that you want to work with. It's like anything in business. When we first started this, myself and Luke, and I didn't have a clue who Luke was, and I didn't have a clue who Kevin was, I didn't know any of these guys that weren't in my core group already. And it's amazing as time goes on, you just kind of see who you want to work with, who you want to partner with, who you want to grow your business with, and you make those decisions based on that. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, it's
You like
good to
the
see. Good to see little hustlers.
yeah.
That was one of the big things coming out of the whole hobby boom, because when they said they started up around 2020, it's like right there, right in line with that timing. That's why I was that's why I was a little bit interested in saying, like, all right, so how did you go from buying the cards to flipping the cards to whatnot to trying to set up a trade night? That's good. Like, if the ambition is good, if you want to scale up and that's what you want to do, well, then that is a path. And social media is the path if you're going to do it now. It's a lot more less overhead dealing with that social media aspect of it. If you can handle it, and if that's kind of your style and way, it's a way to scale up now, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot cheaper than trying to rent out a store. probably a smarter move at this point. I wouldn't want to be starting a brick and mortar, especially at this stage. But all right, so we'll kind of shift from there. What's interesting is that right now we're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern. Obviously, we do have the main collective thing coming up. I did discuss that a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit more length. Right now, I think they're still trying to work up their trade show side of things. I think that's kind of what's been interesting about it. I do poke fun at the panels because I have serious questions about the panels, and I'll discuss that at more length later. But I think the premise of having panels and things where people can learn is a good one. The original days of the National had that. That was part of the OG days of the National. I think the concept is good. I just think charging for a lot of it is kind of weird. It's like, all right, you included the most expensive package so that you can get access to these panels and these industry leaders. It's like, in this industry, we almost all of us can touch and communicate with a lot of these leaders. I'm not sure how much more value you're getting out of a panel, and that's always been kind of my contention with it. Although there are some elements of it that I could see, but I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I guess just because you have them in a room, I guess that's supposed to be the value of it. The networking is the part where I think the value really kicks in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think I always said when you go to a lot of events, whether it's in the sports cards or other conventions, it's very hard to keep your audience engaged when you have panels. And sometimes it actually gets to the point where, at the national, you'll have the stage off to the side and there's people speaking and you got 3 people sitting in the stands just listening to them. I always said, if you're going to do this, you got to make sure you have an audience to make the people that are presenting have that engagement, make them feel good about themselves. There's nothing, it's embarrassing if you're sitting on a stage and you're speaking to 3 people, right? When you got 100 empty chairs. Mm-hmm. And you see that at the national, like constantly. It's almost like the seats in front of the panels when they're doing it are for seats for people that just need a break from standing, right? It's not that engagement. So this is going to be interesting, but I think they've done a lot of improvements over the last year. I didn't go to the last one. Something came up and I had to cancel, but I think the show itself is going to be a much, much bigger show, which I'm excited to see what's going to happen there because you have PSA grading on site. You have other grading companies grading on site. They're not just doing that unless they think the attendance and the audience is going to be there, obviously. So
I think it's fair. I think what's going to come down to, though, is we have to almost separate out the two things. When I'm talking about the panels and that, I'm talking about one aspect of it. When I'm talking about the show, is almost a separate aspect of it because the on-site grading and there are people that are going to go there. Oh, yeah, let me drop off my cards. Let me do a little bit of transactions while I'm here. Especially if the dealers are quality, then that'll play into it as well. So that'll be a bit of an element of it. So let me make sure I get a couple of these questions and comments in here. It's like, Brad, do you ever stop being a good guy? It's so aggravating. Don't worry, Eric. I will more than make up for it. and I've got plans for Friday. Don't worry. We'll get there. Jeremy Paul here. Good evening. With the new announcement, the PSA will not be accepting all years of Star Basketball cards. That was a new thing that just came out. When will you be accepting it for submission?
Yeah, right away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, at any time, anything that PSA accepts, we will. Same as they are grading the Pokemon metal cards again now. They have a sleeve. They just made an announcement on that, so we'll be accepting those as well.
Absolutely. Dave says, value of panels is when collectors with knowledge share it. That is very much in line with what happens with a lot of the ANA, a lot of the coin conventions and stuff like that, because a lot of the panels tend to be from expert speakers who will deliver a seminar. They basically offer a symposium, and a lot of times people will tune into that because they're like, wait, this guy's an expert in this field. I actually want to sit in and listen. It's a little different than the panel per se, because it's like you actually get to listen to an expert explain something, somebody who has depth and knowledge, and then you're sitting there to absorb that knowledge, and then you also get to ask questions. So you get a little bit of that back and forth knowledge transfer. That's where I can kind of see a little bit about the panels. I've always found to be a little bit wishy-washy. That's for me. That's just my take on what it's been in the past. In stamps, most panels are led by collectors' specialized knowledge. Yeah, so Dave's kind of on the same wavelength. This is kind of what I was referring to. I think in Chicago's going to be huge in terms of attendance. It could very well be. It is the better location of the ones that have been in the recent rotation. I think most people prefer Chicago. It is easier to access.
Yeah. You know what you can see too? We tried to book another hotel room at our hotel that I'm staying at, the A Loft right there, right by the airport, right by the convention center. And they do have rooms available, but they're at like $1,200 a night. So when you start to see, you can judge everything on attendance wise on the hotels. So once their prices start hitting that, it's going to be crazy. So
what you're saying is, if worse comes to worse, and for whatever reason I can't make it, I should just resell my reservation.
100%.
It's like, what happens? It's like, I'm underselling it. It's like, don't worry, guys, only $800 a night. Wait, it's like, yeah. I'm the one who made it like a band. I didn't even have to get on the plane.
Do you know what? People forget about that. The first time I went to the Super Bowl, I never realized that I was very naive. The hardest thing to do at a Super Bowl, everyone thinks, oh, it's a Super Bowl ticket. It's the ticket. Not a chance. It's a hotel. Yeah. Because every hotel in that area is booked, and they make you book for 4 nights. You need to book Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at like $500 to $1,000 a night, your hotels cost you triple what your ticket's going to cost you to get into the game. And it's like that at every Super Bowl.
Well, as the price of the Super Bowl ticket keeps escalating, Brad, at this point, a private helicopter and helipad might be just cheaper. Maybe just helipad in, drop it down, get out, and then helipad back out when the time is right. So do you accept PSA DNA subs? We've gotten this kind of question, but what's the current status of the PSA DNA stuff?
Yeah, so we talk about it quite a bit. Me and Luke talked about it, I think, last week. We are going to. We do. I have, and the problem with it is PSA DNA still backed up a little bit. And once you open up the PSA DNA, you can't really restrict it to say, okay, we're only going to accept 8x10 photos. We're only going to accept this. Soon as we start accepting PSA DNA submissions, we have to do helmets, jerseys, sticks, bats, sneakers, you name it. And then it's just a logistic issue of shipping to Santa Ana, California and back. Maybe if New Jersey office gets rolling with DNA, we could make it easier for people. That could be something we're going to do. I think my big thing right now is to have PSA DNA start attending some of the shows here in Canada. Shows that we set up at, to have that component of it as well. I think it would be very good for PSA DNA to do that. And I think it will happen in the near future.
Good stuff. Thank you for the question. CC says, looks like BGS will be doing on-site grading at next Expo. Eric was working really hard on that. I was really hoping for PSA to be the first to grade on-site at the Expo maybe soon. If Brad has his way.
Absolutely. This one was, I don't want to say we were close to having it at this one, but the talk started a while ago. And for us, we really, really want to have that. And I can't, again, not saying it's going to happen, not saying it's not going to happen, but November would be an absolutely perfect show with the release of UD Series 1, Connor Bedard, the hype. It would be a perfect scenario for PSA to set up and do on-site grading. So
you can be assured between now and then, Brad is like on the hotline or on the red phone. He goes, get it done! Get it done! Bedard! Hangs up. Between now and then. There's going to be a lot of those conversations.
It's true. And I started to say, when I had these conversations with the guys at PSA, like, how many cards do you think you'd grade? I look at that and I'm like, I don't know the answer. Like, at a regular service level, how many cards do you think Beckett's going to on-site grade at the Expo? And I know if you're not in the space, that's really hard to answer, but are they going to have 500 cards? Are they going to have 5,000 cards?
Well, it's also, in fairness though, we don't know what the pricing is yet.
True.
Because to me, it's critically, and this is just something that'll, if the PSA thing comes to pass, or BGS in this case, the fact that they're doing on-site grading and they kind of got there first to market, hey, congratulations, good job for them. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but what's the pricing? This is important because the pricing is really critical. Is it going to be in line with the U.S. shows, but obviously adjusted for currency conversion, or are you going to try to put a bit of a premium on it? Like, if you price it too aggressively, meaning too high, then it's not really a value add at that point. You may as well just intake it. Like, it's got to be, as the customer, if I'm interested in that, I'm going to be interested with the idea, most likely, that I'm doing it either for authentication or I want to get it graded and so that I can flip it. Most people that are collectors are not necessarily needing on-site grading unless it's a really valuable card, in which case then fair enough, I get it. But if it's just a regular, like a PC card, it's like, yeah, do I want to pay like 3 times as much as the normal price just so I can have it right now? Well, maybe there are a few people that'll do that, but most people will not do that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They're also not.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
No, you go
I was
ahead.
gonna say they're also not doing it on a Sunday, eh? So they said only the other days except for Sunday.
That's right. Yep. Which is probably wise. Honestly, it gives them a chance just in case they end up with any backlog. It allows them to manage it. I'll be curious. Look, from an observer standpoint, it will be interesting to see what kind of volume they get, because they will be the only major player in the space who will have it. SGC will not have on-site grading. PSA will not have on-site grading, and to my knowledge, CSG will not have on-site grading. So of the main 4, they will be the first ones actually successfully implement it in this era. Because right now, the only ones that were doing on-site grading was KSA and Mint. Those were the only 2 that were actually doing it.
I'd be interested to see if they're going to do the same thing as what they did with raw grading.
They are.
When they did it a couple of years ago. And I mean, yeah, but I mean, they had escalation pricing. So on Friday was like so much or whatever. And then because they got so busy on Saturday. They increased the prices, and then Sunday was like 4 times the price if you wanted to get done, right? So I don't know. I mean, yeah, let's see how much they're going to charge and stuff, right? So, and if they're going to
right.
stay true to that.
Do you know what? I think that's so bad. I think that's one of the worst things that you possibly can do in business. I hate it from all aspects. And I can say this about PSA. PSA lowered their price at the National. You know, I think it was on Saturday, they actually lowered the price from what they had. Either way, I think that just as if you're the customer to either have to pay more to get it done back or to pay less and you submit it a day early, I find that from a customer service standpoint, that's tough. If you're going to set your prices, I think you should stick with it. And that's what it should be. You shouldn't be rewarded to wait, or you shouldn't be penalized if you submit early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that's a tough one.
Yeah. But that's the reason why I say the pricing is critical. It's not enough to do the on-site grading. That's notable. It is worthy of note. But at the same time, like if you just make it 5 times the normal price, well, then that's not much of a bargain. That's not a great deal. So the question is, all right, what's your pricing relative to the normal? That's the question that I would have.
So PSA is going to do PSA at the Mint Collective. They're offering regular, you can submit at regular service level. So they're going to be, that's $75 US.
Okay.
For a card.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Going to be a lot of folks using National as a small summer vacation, driving to the show for a day or two and hitting the amusement park. Yeah, totally. And you're in the right area to do it. And it is summertime. So in summertime, you got some nice options. Perfect time for that PSA 11. Listen, I'm angling for it. There's going to be PSA 11 turned up to 11 Spinal Tap. That's mine. Oh, it's mine. Stagger Joel says, are the time estimates pretty accurate right now? I would say they're being exceeded at the moment.
Big time. Yeah, we just got a huge bump to make sure that we had all the cards we submitted in 2022 that will be back before the expo on the 20th. So as you can see, if anyone's following our spreadsheets, there's a ton of orders that just moved into shipping that are en route back to us. And there's a ton that I'm going to update on this weekend. I'm at a little bit of the crossroads because we have a package that's probably going to arrive on Monday or Tuesday. We go to Vegas from Wednesday to Monday. So I'm not going to update the spreadsheet while we're gone because I don't want to have cards that are here and then people will be expecting invoices because we are taking this. This is a personal trip. It's 5 days. And I don't think I've had one of these since I started with PSA Canada where I will be doing card stuff, but at the same time, just to have that reset before we come back and I go to Langley with Luke, then the whole circuit starts. So we're in a little bit of a holding pattern start next Tuesday.
Right. Gotcha. CC says, not only how many cars will be graded on site, marketing and presence will also bring loyalty, awareness, and goodwill with customers. Yeah, no doubt. Like, none of us disagree that it's a smart move. And being able to promote it as we're the ones doing on-site grading, I think it's a good move from a marketing standpoint. The price is important, and it's true, and CC is right. Even if they only grade a little bit, just the fact that they're offering it does allow them to distinguish themselves right now. And if PSA joins them at the next show or the show after that or whenever, obviously that'll help them. And then it kind of is an arms race where all the graders would probably be then well served to offer that service. So it's kind of a benefit to everybody. Then you can kind of have your option. It would be better if they all offered it, and then we can choose which one we want to use, depending on what makes sense for us. Dave says, does either KSA or Mint do on-site in Canada? Yes, both. Yep, for the last, it's been years now. KSA has been doing it literally for years, and Mint, I think, has done it the last couple of years that I recall. That you can get it on-site, get the thing slabbed up, and bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been something they've been doing for years. So, but they're both Canadian-based. So for them, it's obviously easier to get the slabbing machine there and bring a couple of graders over. It's not nearly the logistical issue that would be for the US-based ones. But at the same time, like, there is a pent-up demand. Kind of the reason Brad's looking at it is like, well, there are people who would prefer and be more comfortable delivering their cards knowing they can get them back within a day or so, or by the same day or whatever the case may be. Just that little bit of extra comfort knowing I can leave with the card that I brought in the same show, that's huge. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And I will say too, anyone that wants, I'm going to take cards down with me, anything that's regular service or above to get done. So as long as I have those cards before Tuesday, really, no. So let me correct myself. As long as I have them on Monday, either tomorrow on the weekend or by Monday, I will take anyone's regular cards, get them graded on site and bring them back. So.
Yep. You'll have to check. There is the social medias, Dave. Usually on Instagram, they tell you the show's special beforehand. I think last time KSA was like $50 a card or something. It wasn't cheap, but it was. But they did it.
Mhm.
We got jokes. I like when we got jokes. Brad, have an awesome family trip. There you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
Some warm sentiments. Good stuff.
I'm
Obviously,
sure
we're
I'll
go-
be at the card show 95% of the time.
That's the
I
part you'll
gotta
probably be
make sure
enjoying.
Yeah.
The family will enjoy it separate from that. Are you gonna, by the way, are you gonna do anything Vegas wise while you're there that's actually Vegas related, not card related? You know, visit
Yeah.
anything or attend anything?
So I think I told Summer that I go to Wet and Wild one day with her, with all of them, which is, that will be an adventure in itself for me. Cirque du Soleil one night. There's a Vegas hockey game. There is one hockey game that we may go to.
Okay.
I kind of gave them the green light. I said, whatever you guys want to do, we'll do it. Not doing the helicopter in the Grand Canyon again. Did that once. I'll never have to do that again. I'm not a big guy on heights, so that was a crazy experience.
Which Cirque du Soleil you guys gonna watch?
Oh man, there's a gazillion of them. I forget the one
I
they
was
want
gonna
to
say
go
there's a
see.
lot of them. Yeah.
I know. There's a new one that's out that they haven't seen. We did the Michael Jackson Cirque one that time. That was awesome.
Always the best, I think.
Oh yeah.
I
I find they're all
the
similar.
Cirque du Soleil there, Luke? Are you telling us you got a little bit of a? It's like, should we go to your personal blog to get your your ratings of the different Cirque du Soleils?
No, not like Jason Robertson.
No, not like that. Okay, gotcha. Just making sure. Yeah, I think it was like, am I way off base? I feel like $50 was the number for like the show grading. Like if you went to the KSA booth and said, "Here's my card, grade it," I think it was $50.
I think so. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
And I think Mint was in the same ballpark. I think they were right around the same price point, both of them.
Mhm.
So
All I
yes,
remember
the
for
answer is-
KSA, all I remember for KSA was the zing, and then the
That is true.
loud.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Dave, you may not believe this, but like people got the cards graded. Like testament to the fact that there is a demand. Like that's not a joke. Like you may not agree, you may not like it. That's a completely different conversation. The fact is there are people who want to get these cards graded and encapsulated, and they're willing to pay a premium to get it done at the show and walk away with the card.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. And that was 110 for 375. Thank you, Doug. So yeah, so you'd have a special if you bought in volume. But the point is, people are willing to pay a premium over the normal price to get it done at the show and get their card back at the show. And it didn't matter that it wasn't one of the big four. It made no difference whatsoever. They wanted it. So that's why if the big four offered their services, so like to their credit, again, we give credit where it's due. Beckett being one of the only one of the big four to actually offer on-site grading, there will be people who will take them up on that offer. I guarantee that 100%.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, and we'll wait to see what the price is. We'll find out. So, but if they don't make it as competitive, they will not get to encapsulate as many. But there will be some folks who will take them up for it regardless. If you got a Jordan rookie and you want it in a BGS holder, well, then you'll get it and you'll probably pay the freight.
Yeah. Then you can bring it over and cross over with us.
Live the dream. Live the dream. Print photography. Good evening. Would a McDavid Young Gun be considered regular service?
Yeah. So I actually just had 4 young guns come back for a guy tonight. He submitted them all at regular service. I think all 4s were PSA 9s. So if you get a 9, it will stick at regular. If it comes back at 10, you're going to get bumped up to Super Express. So I think McDavid's are hitting close to like $4,000 US now. Like they're starting it's starting. I think Jeff Wilson, sports card investor, just did a little thing on McDavid's Young Gun. I think he said this was yesterday, 3,600 to 3,800 USD is what they're averaging. So if you submit at that will get bumped up to the Super Express level. Like we always said, you usually have to be on the higher end of the next level to do it. If you're on the lower end, you could probably stick through. But when you get on the, if you had a card that you submitted at regular and it came out and it had a $2,000 value, you probably wouldn't get bumped to Express. But if you have a card that you submitted at regular value, like a McDavid, and it comes back at 4K, then you're going to get bumped up to that under 5K level. So
good stuff. Yep. May send a few cards with you. There you go. Good stuff. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Carter Warren, good evening. Absolutely.
Carter,
So-
we got Carter here. Carter's in a big car accident for not his fault, but he's okay. But I told him he's milking it. He's off for the full week from work, so
All
he's
right.
got a lot
Well,
of extra time on his hand.
you got to milk it. You got to milk it. So what we'll do here is we'll chat for a little bit here, guys, and then we'll wind her down around the usual time. But before we do, we may as well. We'll talk about it. We'll have a little bit of fun. By the way, if you guys got any comments or questions, feel free to throw them in there. Nova Groy is like, look, I was trying to be nice and not say anything. I would corroborate that in 3 other places.
I
I've
like
seen-
Jeff Wilson. We already.
It's not about liking or disliking. It's that he has a struggle with the whole data and facts. I understand he's got a data tool, but I don't know if he knows how to read it. I have concerns. I've heard enough things, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, did you read what it actually said on the screen? What it actually said on the screen. Just to be clear. Hopefully knock some sense into him. There you go. Now, question. Kind of pose it since it's a little bit of interesting here. So let me read this one here. Parker Burns and Conway. Brad, would PSA grade those limited run cards I pick up today?
Oh, that I don't know. Yeah, I can't really answer that.
Good
We'd
question.
have to look. Yeah, there were video cards. They came within video games. I think they would, and if they didn't, we could send in to do a request that they would. But they're legit cards, so I think they would.
Yeah, I think if you've got enough documentation of stuff, I think you can usually get that done. But your mileage may vary. That's usually been the way in the past for a lot of stuff like that. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about it. I casually watch the regular season of hockey. That's kind of what I do. But at this point, it's kind of hard to. I was making the joke about the 60 goal thing, and we talk about the guy in Edmonton. It's like it's a pretty good season, pretty prolific season there. Is
On pace for
McDavid?
168.
Yeah, but the question is this. All right, how many points do you think we finish off with? I think he's got 138 right now, give or take, 138. And right now, that's one of the best seasons in a very long time, because when you start getting into the 140s, pushing close to 150, you got to go back to the 80s to find basically. I think Lemieux is like the only one who has a season anywhere in there that hovers in the 150s after the 1980s. Everybody else is like 91, 92, 90, 90, 90, or 88, 89, thereabouts. So this is kind of a historic season, especially in the current era. So kind of any thoughts on that? Anybody want to make a prediction on where we wind up points-wise?
How many games you got left? I think 13 games or something, right?
I don't think it's quite that much. I want to say it's maybe about 10 or maybe a little under 10. I'll double check where he's at right now. I want to say he's at like 70 games and change. I'll take a look. See if I can find it. Let's take a look. So right now he is we're at 72 games this season. I don't know if he's missed any games or not, but 72 is how many he's played.
Has he played a full season? Has he missed any game? How many games do
That's the thing. I'm not sure how many games have they been in so far this season. It says he's leading the league, so he's tied for leading the league. So that's what, 9 games left, give or take? 9 or 10?
Yeah.
I think 10 games, yeah. 82 games, right?
I think so, yeah. So if he plays every game in 82, so then in that case, I'd give him 10 games.
Did they bump it to 84 now? Is it still 82?
No, it's
82,
still
yeah.
82 is
80.
the top out.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's played
So-
72 games this year.
Yeah. So he's got 138 points in 72 games. What are you feeling?
He'll end up with 154.
154. It's bold. Bold, sir.
He's averaging like 2 points a game, right?
He's very close to 2 points a game, yeah. A little under, but very close.
I'm more impressed
1.92.
that he hasn't missed a game. Edmonton's played 72 games. That's impressive for the way that at the speed and the way he plays the game. Like, that's impressive for him not to miss a game. I think the NBA maybe could take a few tips from Mr.
Lessons.
Connor McDavid on like this. I think the load management thing is ruining the NBA personally. That's just my personal opinion on it. I can't stand it. I get maybe the odd time there, but look at what McDavid's doing. Played every single game this year at the elite level that we've ever seen on skates. So
Now, if Luke's prediction comes to pass, that would be the 15th most prolific season in NHL history in points. That would put him 15th by himself, just behind the 88-89 season of Steve Yzerman of 155 points. That's why I say you got to go back basically to the 80s to find the guys that scored at that kind of level. It's been a while. Lemieux was 160 points in 92-93, 161 in 95-96. Everybody else is early 90s, 80s. I got to go backwards.
That's impressive, man. It's crazy to see what he's doing.
So tell me, Brad, 138 points in 72 games, potentially 10 games left. How many points are we finishing with?
I'm going to go 160.
He's going 160. He wants to tie him with Lemieux's 92-93 season. Bold.
What did Lemieux have the most in a season?
199. That was in 88-89. He just came just shy of 200 points.
Ugh.
If he had Wayne Gretzky's scorer and gotten a couple of extra secondary assists just for showing up, just saying.
Stop.
I will pass that conspiracy theory forever. So real quick, we got a couple of questions here real quick. Serious question. I just brought home some homemade retro cards off eBay. Is PSA grades this type of card for you, Eric? Anything. PSA 11 or BGS 10. Yep, holding on to the 125th McDavid autos I picked up in the offseason. There you go. Do you accept packs?
Yep. Yes, we do. And they're at Luke $40 Canadian a pack now, or is it 50?
I think it's 55.
55. Yeah, 40 US or 55 Canadian. That's what it is.
Good stuff.
And they seem to be coming back at a better speed now as well.
That's good.
We just had
No, sorry. Packs are 80 only at the regular service.
No, they
No.
switched.
No, yeah, that's the old one.
It's not like PSA changes their prices very often just to mess with us, right?
I would hate to see how high McDavid's card will go if he gets over 150 points and Edmonton can win a couple of rounds. So like that's what I mean. Like, but like 150 plus points is pretty historic. The reason why I wanted to give that context is that if you go look at the most points in a season all time, like now you're getting into rarefied air. You get 150 points, you're passing a lot of Hall of Fame guys and all-time great seasons along the way. Really impressive. And adding the 60 goals as well, and obviously he's racking up a lot of assists. So he's doing all the pieces you want to see.
Yeah.
He should get over 80 assists. The question is how high, because the assists, they're racking up tons of those, and that's how you get the big point totals are assists. You can get a goal and like 3 assists, and that's how you like rack up the big point totals. That's basically how you do it. But the fact he's also scoring goals is really impressive. 60 goals. There's only 4 current players with 60 goals. And he's got about 10 games left, and right now 65 for Ovi is the highest of the active guys. The other guys are basically all right around 60.
I like it.
It's pretty good.
You know what we should do? So, Carlos, I said 160. Luke, you said what?
154.
Carlos, what's yours?
10 games. I feel like they're going to play. If he plays all the games, which is, I think, the critical to this, if he has to play all 10 games, I'm going to say a couple of teams are going to play a little bit soft, even though they don't want to. I'll go 164.
164. I'm going to put it out there too. Anyone in the chat, the regular crew's all in there. If you put your answer there, anyone that hits it, I'll grade 1 regular card for free.
There you go. Well, that's a good reason
anyone
to at least
hits
throw
the
in a
number, you
guess.
hit the
That's a
number.
good reason to at least throw in a guess. You may as
Absolutely.
well.
Except for Eric.
Yeah, I'm going 16 points. I'm going 1.6 points per game because I'm thinking there's going to be like a 1 goal, 3 assists kind of thing that'll help kind of bolster it up. That's kind of what I'm banking on. Banking on a couple of those along the way.
He's averaging 1.992 right now.
Yeah, I'm giving a little bit of slowdown. Like I'm assuming there's going to be a little bit of slowdown there, but I'm picking a couple of a couple of those multi-assist games with a goal to kind of help push him up a little bit. Dave had 158.
Okay.
Eric says, "Stop it, Carlos. Stop defending Gretzky. He was way worse than that." I agree, Eric. You're right. I should be a lot meaner to Gretzky. Carter says 156. Eric says 7 points. Unfortunately, he's already disqualified. Doug says 159. Brinton says 161. Yannick says 159. All right, so a lot of folks are hovering right in that 150s-ish categories. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Perfect. Building a little excitement here. I
There you
like
go.
it.
CC's trying to give a tiebreaker. He's saying 70 goals with 161 total points. That'll give him a little bit of a distinction. That'd be 10 more goals, though. That's aggressive. I like the boldness of it.
Man, if
10
he
more
gets
goals.
to 70 goals, like 70 goals in this era, that's
In this
That's
era,
not-
now, mind you, I will say this season, scoring is up. Like, I don't know if you can notice, like, we're seeing, like, I was looking through the list and I was like, that's a lot of 40 goal scorers and a couple of guys who are pushing 50. I was like, it's been a while since I've seen that many that are right in that zone, right in that range. It's pretty good.
Is there a way you could do it? I'm sure someone out there, obviously with the analytics that we have today, do some sort of a metric that you could see in today's game with the amount of empty net goals that there's empty net goals back as well. But you could, and also how many goals were scored in the overtime by playing 3-on-3. Somehow I'd like to be able to see some sort of analytics based on that.
I think that's fair. I think you can get analytics on almost everything. I will say I did find an article from December that some folks were doing some analysis, and they did find that goal scoring was comfortably up. It's been the highest, actually. Goal scoring in general has been the highest it's been in years.
Right.
Not a couple of years. It's been a while. So that I feel like that's jiving with the point totals we're seeing. It's jiving with and that Edmonton team is high octane anyway. Like between Drysdale and McDavid, the two of them are playing off of each other very well, and it's really helping them both rack up tons of points. Parker says
overtime goals in the top 50 players right now. There's only 3 that have scored 3 goals.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of them actually that are zeros too.
I think that's fair. And the other piece I'll add to this puzzle, by the way, out of that 60 goals so far, 21 on the power play. That'll help.
Yeah.
Some guys don't score 21 in a season. 21 on the power play will really help bolster your totals. Matthew Tkachuk, big sleeper according to Carter. Okay. Brent says that's ambitious. Yeah, it's very ambitious. Hey, look, I'm appreciating the boldness. I like the fact that he went for it. Eric says, poo-poo me if you wish, but I'm sticking with 7, and you're still disqualified. I appreciate your effort. In related news, though, you'll be pleased to know that I've checked it out with the official goal scorer, and it turns out that I have 317 points in a single season, 0 goals, 317 secondary assists. So I'm better than Gretzky. Sorry. I knew a guy. All it took was 1 beer, and the guy gave me all the secondary assists I wanted. It's great. I'm recording them right now. I might actually be up to 325. Is it 325? Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. But I think that's good. I like historic seasons. For me, I'm interested because I don't have a stake in Edmonton. It doesn't make any difference to me. I don't have any McDavid cards, so it makes no difference to me whatsoever. But I like seeing history. And even if it's not a record, I know that I haven't seen a season like that in a while. Like, you got to go back to the early 90s. You got to go back to the 80s. So I haven't had the chance to see a season of anybody putting up that kind of points. So I'm enjoying watching the highlights. Even if I'm not watching every game, I'll watch the highlights, and I'm enjoying box score watching a little bit here and there. So it's been kind of fun.
He is so impressive to watch live. Like just the way that he moves, like you see it on TV and stuff like that. But I mean, in live, even in the warm-ups, it's incredible. It's awesome.
The real question is, how many Alex Manoah cards should Brad be selling to get all the McDavids? Is the question that I would be asking. That's the question I'd have.
I know. I have a very close family member that has a pretty significant McDavid collection. So I let him do the McDavid. He has deeper pockets than me. He does the McDavid collecting.
There you go. I like it. James Hunt says, I serviced Walter's car. I didn't even get a secondary assist. What? You got ripped off, my man. You got ripped off. You totally deserved a secondary assist for that. 100%. Has there ever been a thought to upload the podcast to Spotify? I actually think that's not a bad idea. I actually like that idea. I know I've actually played around with it a little bit. There is something we can do with that. So maybe, Brad, we can talk about that. A lot of these episodes are probably okay audio-wise, although we do show cards sometimes. So anything that is on the screen that we don't describe in vivid detail, maybe that'll be Luke's job from now on. And Luke, describe it to us. Give us the descriptive text of what's going on the screen. And then we ask him to describe interpreted dance or something. That'd be fantastic. I would love it. But that's a good idea, Carter. It's a very solid idea. I think McDavid plays in Vegas next Tuesday. There you go. If that's true, it's like Brad is like.
Well, you know what's crazy? So I have a return flight from Vegas. I don't actually have my flight there. Summer, her friend, and Sherry's flights are booked both ways, but I was supposed to be in Florida for spring training for the Jays, and that kind of went sideways with some of my buddies this year. Mm-hmm. So maybe I just have to I did kind of float the idea. I go on Tuesday. Maybe this happens now.
How convenient.
Yeah.
How interesting.
I was going to show a few cards that I picked up this week too. I know
Luke, this is great. This is our opportunity. I need you to describe them in vivid detail. It'll be for the podcast. Do it for the pod, Luke. Do it for the pod.
I wanted to show I decided Carter was actually there. I decided to splurge and get a box of the cup. And
did
lo,
you? Okay,
lo and
hold on,
behold,
hold on here. Let me adjust this so you can. There we go. Now you're on.
so this is, how do I get away from the
Is that
lighting?
Stutzla?
Yep, Stutzla RPA out of 99.
Okay, gotcha.
So super, super excited to pull that. And so that's going right in the PC. Then this week we had a gentleman come in to the store and we sold us, this is my kind of grading pile. We picked up another 52 Tops Mano.
Yep.
It's going to be, hopefully it gets a 1. I think it's going to get a 1. The card's all there, not just authentic. We got a couple 61 mantles in nice shape. They should be 5s or 6s.
Mhm.
A 56, which will probably be a 2.
Now, gray back or white back on the 56?
This is grayback.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. And there was another cool card that I want to show. Actually, I don't. Yeah. It's not in this pile. It's in another pile. But anyways, yeah, it's lots of great pickups this week at AMG, and we're super excited.
Nice. Nice.
I want to show my Stutzla. I was so happy. I'm like, because that's a card that I didn't really want. I really want it,
Mhm.
but I really didn't want to go. I spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a Stutzel Cup card. So
Grade it. Bring
it's
it on.
great.
Bring it on Wednesday.
So no, I am. I honestly, this is a PSA 10. I'm confidently saying it's going to be a PSA 10. I looked at it so much. We will see. I will do a live reveal.
It's like we might have to put the fix in, Luke. We might have to see if we can get the 11. Carter says, "Can I hold it?" Question mark.
Oh my God. So that's from, remember I told about the Carey Price that I pulled at the store that time out of the cup, and I passed it to my buddy. It was Carter's dad who I passed it to, and he dropped it, and all the corners got mangled. It was the nicest Carey Price RPA ever. And then Carter, I never ever told Scott, his dad, I never told him about that. Like, I didn't mention it again, but I talked about it on the show. It's the nicest one. It was probably worth 10 grand. Like, it was absolutely perfect. Carter takes a snippet out of your Friday night show, Carlos, and plays it to his dad one day. And his dad texts me, he's like, "Man, you never told me you feel so bad now," right?
I like it. Fair enough. Let me scan here. Here you go. Carter, you can hold him when he finally picks you up in Turo. There you go. Eric says 11 for sure. Love that, Parker. Yep. Happy for you, Brad. No, Carter, you can't hold nothing for nothing, you and your family. I like Logan's militants. I appreciate it. I think card in 10 would be impressive. Yeah. So with PSA, with the thick cards, they tend to. So we talk about the thing. You know what cards may well be, again, depending on price. Price point is everything. Cards may get a little bit of play at the expo with BGS doing grading. The thick cards. BGS tends to be better with those. PSA usually punishes the thicker cards if they're not on point, because there's a lot of things that can happen with the edges and the corners, and you can get a little bit of pushed in, and a whole bunch of stuff that can happen with those. It's easy not to get a 10. Let's put it that way. So this is the trade night at the AMG. Do you want to quickly outline that? I know that's coming up. I think you're having that tomorrow, right?
Yep. Yeah, we are tomorrow night from 5 till 8. Yeah, I'll be there definitely with some of my personal cards again. I know we probably expect, we've been getting like 75 to 100 people. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and we all get to be collectors and pull some deals off. So I'm excited for it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. That answers your question, Rod. So let me kind of take us all out on this. So we had the so I think it'll archive for us the chat, so we'll be able to come back to it hopefully and see once we see what McDavid's point total is.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have to make a note somewhere just to see if anybody got close. It'd be kind of cool if anybody hit it on the head. Now I'll throw this out. So obviously with the last portion of the season here, the last 10 games or so, outside of the McDavid thing, which we talked about, which could be a historic season for him, especially in this era. Anything else surprised you from the 72 games so far? Anything caught your eye? There's been a lot of good performances. I think there's been a lot. Ovechkin breaking the record for 40 goal seasons. That's been kind of cool. He had a slowdown. Obviously, he went back to Russia. He had the family thing and some other, but he still managed 40 goals. I don't think he'll get to 50 this year. I think that's out of the question, unless he gets like nuclear hot right at the end of the year here. But 40 goals this season is good, and it kind of keeps chipping away towards his bigger goal. We'll see. We'll see how the next couple seasons go, but that's a good record to have, the 40 goal record. That's a lot of seasons. 13 seasons of 40 goals.
No, it's
You,
very
you,
impressive.
you know who I'm impressed with is actually Clayton Keller
Clayton
with
Keller.
Arizona.
All right. Why so?
He's got 37 goals, and I guess right now since the All-Star break, he's the second highest point producer on a team like Arizona.
Okay. Who isn't even playing in an NHL rink? That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're really not. They're not. And I'm disappointed in you, Luke. I'm disappointed that you are not impressed with Jamie Benn scoring 30 goals. I thought he was dead. I collect Jamie Benn. I appreciate Jamie Benn, but I thought he was dead. It's like, and then I saw, it's like, he actually scored 30. Oh my God. We're going to party like it's 2017. Brad, let's go.
He has 30 goals this year, Jamie
He has
Benn.
30 goals this season. He scored 30 goals the
That's
other
crazy.
day. His 30th goal. And I was like, he lives! Lazarus Pit. My cup rookie is worth like $1.47 now. Yes.
I would never have thought he did. You know, speaking of that, then honestly, probably the most impressive season this year, Eric Carlson.
Oh yes, Eric Carlson has been playing very well. That's
Came
been
out of
very
nowhere,
nice.
like potential Norris Trophy again, top scoring defenseman in the NHL. It's like crazy what he's done.
The reason I make fun of it, obviously, because I collect Ben. That's part of the reason I can have some fun with it. But like, no, seriously, like truthfully, 2017, 2018 was the last season he scored 30 goals. He had 36, 43 assists, and 79 points. About a point a game, give or take. Pretty solid. That's fine. Next several years, 27 goals, 19, 11, 18 in 82 games last year, and this year 30. And he's got 70 points. So he's almost at a point a game this year. I'm like, I thought you died. And yet here you are.
Do you know what? Dallas must be one of the top scoring teams. They have to be one of the top scoring teams in the NHL, man. Because if Ben's got 30, like they've got some serious depth and young talent.
Yeah, I would say it's more than anything depth. Like Robertson has 41, which is very good. But like Sagan has fallen off the face of the earth. Like he's got 17 goals.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because at one point in time, like he was one of the scoring threats they had. But like it's been years since he's been a real scoring threat. That's why it's funny because both him and Ben are getting paid a lot of money to be very below average in scoring. That's why Ben coming back this year and actually scoring 30 is like, oh my God, he lives. He's alive.
Contract year.
I don't know. Like I have to check and see. Like, hey, look, I'm just happy he's alive at this point. He's never going to be a Hall of Famer, but like it's nice to see him actually come back a little bit because otherwise he was going to be like he was on track to be notoriously known as the worst Art Ross Trophy winner of all time. He did win the Art Ross Trophy once upon a time. That is a fact. And he's almost at 360 career goals, so that's not terrible.
Yeah. Do you think he could ever be a Hall of Famer? I guess how many cups does he have?
It would require Dallas hasn't won any cups.
Dallas didn't win one?
No. Jamie Benn started in 09-10. The cups were done. The cup was 99.
Oh, the cup was all the way back in 99. Jeez.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. It was in standard def.
I forget a buddy of mine, John Sim, played on the team. I was thinking 2009 for some reason, but yeah.
I wish it was 2009. It would be in HD.
Yeah.
I watched it back in old standard def, triple overtime, man.
I am that old.
It was crazy times, crazy times. McDavid is one away from 300. That's true as well. Like, and I think McDavid's what, 25, 26? He's still pretty young, actually.
25, I think.
Very impressive. Yeah, I think so. So very impressive. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I don't know that like I said, selfishly, that was a surprise for me. I think I was amused by that. Logan asking the proper question. Brad, does that make you feel old?
I feel old every day.
We'll get constant reminders.
When it becomes
Wait, that was 30 years ago? Wait, that was 20 years ago? What the hell?
I know. When it's a chore to put your socks on in the morning, you know things are just happening.
Well, look, if it makes
That's
you feel
why I wear sandals.
There you go.
Wow. See? But the thing is, you know what, Brad? Maybe this will help you. You know what helps me feel better? There are moments and times and sometimes where I encounter something that makes me feel old. These moments happen. But when I think about it, I think to myself, Eric will always be older than me. And he's really old. Like, look, for example, here. He says foot in the crease. It's like, that never happened, Eric. That was in your imagination. Go back to your home. Back to your home. Senility is a terrible thing, Brad. It's a terrible thing. Awful. So, folks, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining us as always. Any last comments? Feel free to throw them in there. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you as always, Luke, for chiming in and joining in. I once again giving us a name I wasn't expecting. I appreciate that as well. Very important. Very important. Luke, I see some cases back there. It is true.
They're empty.
Ah, sneaky.
That's what I have to think all the time to not open
Is that
them,
what you have to? You have to tell yourself they're empty. Like they're not full. There's nothing there. Nothing to see. Ignore it.
I just about fell. I was like, those aren't empty. I know those are full, and I know what they are.
The way they're taped up, I was like, is that what you want to go with? Is that really what you want to lie to the people that way, Luke? Is that what you're gonna do? Thank you, James. Appreciate you. All right, folks, on your way out, if you could hit the like button, that is always very helpful. Thank you to the young guys, 416 Sports Cards, for joining us this evening. I'll find a couple of their socials. I'll throw them in the description as well if you want to check any of their stuff out. I'll clip the little discussion that we had later on, and I'll try to get it up on the channel. So we'll do that, and then we'll be back. Scheduling wise, Brad, if the Mint Collective is happening next week, we can talk about it after. So we'll discuss what happens with the show next week.
Yeah, no, I'd love to be able to do something from there because I'm quite confident actually at MGM we'll have good service and good Wi-Fi. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't be a problem to do something unless something does come up on Thursday night. But otherwise, Luke and Kevin could be back too. But I think we're good to go.
Yeah. So otherwise, what we'll do is we'll all plan for next Thursday to go off as normal, one way or the other. We'll adjust it. And if not, Eric has promised that he will personally denounce Wayne Gretzky and all his works and possibly light himself on fire. So you can possibly look forward to that. That like he doesn't know he committed to that, but he already committed to it verbally. He doesn't remember because he's old. It's important that it's important, but I heard it straight from his mouth. Have yourself a good night, Yannick. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thanks for the entertainment while I'm at the airport. Thank you very much. Dave, good evening, everyone. Enjoy the trip, Brad.
thanks, Dave.
Appreciate you all. Folks, have yourselves a great evening. We'll catch you a little bit later on. And then we'll be back next Thursday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Have yourself a good one, and we'll catch you in the next one.